welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Merriam, and today I'm playing a blue-white control deck, or a white-blue control deck, but one that is as tap out of a control deck as you possibly can get. There are very few counter spells here. We're really going to try to curve some early cantrips with Spreading Seas and Wall of Omens into various planeswalkers and sweepers, control the board that way, gain some card advantage, and take over the game with a much more proactive plan than a typical control deck that you might see. So we'll see how it goes. Our opening hand is excellent. We've got turn 2 Wall, turn 3 Gideon. If our opponent's a creature deck, we can follow it up likely with a turn 4 Wrath as long as we draw a land. And then if the game goes along, we have our most powerful planeswalker in Elspeth Sun's Champion. So an easy keep here. Our mana is great too. Opponent is on the play though. Basic Island into Serum Visions. Well, that's not what we really wanted to see, although 2 cards on the bottom makes it a little bit more palatable. Ooh. Huh. So Island Serum Visions generally makes me think Storm, but it's just as likely that they're Jeskai, right? And both decks play... Jeskai is usually 3 islands, Storm is often 4. I mean, slightly more likely just on those lines. If it's Storm, I really want to hold up the Spell Snare in case they try to run out a creature on turn 2. Not sure if they'd be willing to do that, though, if I just lead in Colonnade. If I'm Jeskai or Blue-White, then Storm decks usually hold their creature, assuming that it's important, until the turn they actually want to go off, so they at least get some value from it, and force you to add to the Storm count with a removal spell on that turn, and continue to hold up the mana, impeding your own development. If they are Jeskai, I'd much rather lead the Colonnade. I think it's worth it to just hold up the Spell Snare. So I'm going to go Island Go. Because I don't think curving directly into Wrath of God in this matchup is going to be helpful at all. So we can have a tap land show up later. Opponent obviously doesn't play a 2-drop here. They split the Scry in the second Serum Visions. And now they play a Sulphur Fall, so definitely not Storm. That suggests either Jeskai or Blue Moon, actually. Ugh, Blue Moon would be kind of rough. Do I sit here and try to bluff a counter spell against a Blood Moon? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to try to get this Wall of Omens out there. Hopefully find some more basics to play against a Blood Moon too. Or just hope our opponent's Jeskai. We are definitely not set up to beat a Blood Moon right now with 3 double white cards in her hand and 0 basic planes on the battlefield. Okay, no Blood Moon. That is excellent. Ooh, and a basic planes. Even better. Given the propensity for them having a counterspell, I'm not going to try to run the Gideon out just yet. I'll just play this Colonnade and pass. Next turn I can play Gideon with a Spell Snare up for a potential Remand. Granted, they could have Cryptic Command by then. But I'll take my chances there. Pretty typical line for them to just throw the Electrolyze out. And now I really just want... I need to find a 4th land. Or a 5th land. Just more lands, really. Yeah. I'm more prone to start running out threats, both from the side of the matchup, because I'm the tap-out style control deck, and in control mirrors, I want to run out threats when I'm about to run out of lands. So let's slam a Gideon and hope they don't have Cryptic and instead have Remand. If they Cryptic here, we are very far behind. It's also possible, if they only have 1 counter spell, that they think they can beat this Gideon in other ways, if they have some burn spells. Maybe they don't counter it anyway. Nope, we got Cryptic. Okay. I think on end step I'm going to path this Wall of Omens just to get another land. The The wall is basically doing nothing. Eventually, I might block a Snapcaster Mage. That's about it. I guess it is providing me something to blink with this Oath of Teferi, but I'm not super concerned about that. They had remand too, so they remand our path. Interesting that they would really want to remand it. That's fine. How do I want to play this Spreading Seas? I think I'm going to put it on my own Hallowed Fountain to help play around Blood Moon. I have enough white mana. Certainly don't want to put on a Colonnade. Things not going so well here. The Blue Moon deck is quite good in control mirrors. So unsurprised that we would, or not surprised that we'd fall behind in it. There's 7 cards in hand still. Yeah, they just keep making land drops. Every single spell they've cast is cantripped, so let's go for this path again. Yes, I would like to use its ability. We'll find an island. Three, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to go for the Elspeth here. We don't have a lot of counter spells to back up our cards, so we generally have to go for them early. And Spell Snare will counter a Snapcaster Mage on Cryptic Command, as well as a Remand. So they really need another Cryptic. And we're just not set up to beat another Cryptic, really. Or beat any Cryptics. At least in Game 1. Okay. I'm hoping this Fetch Crack is them representing a 6-mana play, meaning Snapcaster Mage. And that's what it looks like. Spell Snare. Thing is, if we resolve any one of our key threats, it's going to be really tough for them to win. Though if they have a Remand here, they can Remand Spell Snare, then Snap Okay, they have Logic Knot, sure. So now they Logic Knot the Spell Snare, and then Snapcaster Mage the Logic Knot. Both on 1. And cleanly deal with all of our cards. Usually these lists only have 1 Logic Knot, so you know, they had it. Imagine I'll exile a Serum Visions here. Yep. Now we're in trouble. Don't really have anything great left here. I'm at 13 already? How did I get to 13? I guess I shocked myself twice. Yeah. They slam a Jace here. After opting. Weird +2. It's not like I'm a... I guess I have the Colonnade. Okay. Less weird. Yeah. Put the card on the bottom. Okay. Cryptic Command's kind of cool. I'm on 7 mana. Let's D-Sphere this Jace. Awkwardly, the Snapcaster Mage is kind of a threat. The Blue Moon deck likes to burn people out when they get kind of low. If I take 1 more attack from this Snapcaster Mage, I'm going to go to 9. I'll be in triple bolt range, which is not very difficult for them to do. I'm actually going to Wrath away this Snapcaster and just tap out. The Blue Moon deck does not have a lot of threats that it can cast aggressively. Like it's usually 2 Jaces or something. The thing in the ice list are even lower on tap out threats. Yeah, so we don't really get punished there. Um, They did not make a land drop, so their hand is all spells. They've got to have counter spells in their hand. So I don't think tapping out here is good. We can wait as long as they're not making land drops too. Especially because they're going to go to discard first. If they draw lands, that's not good. Ooh, are we tapping out? Got to be tapping out for something if... But it's a Blood Moon plus Cryptic. Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to Cryptic this and bait theirs. I honestly don't... Okay, they just let it resolve. Smart on their part. It was going to take a while for us to get to the point where we... Oh, they have another. So it's going to take a while for us to get to the point where we could cast a spell with Cryptic up, but them tapping out for this Blood Moon means we get to resolve Teferi. We have essentially 6 basics in play, so Blood Moon's not doing a whole lot. I could deal with the Blood Moon right now, but I'd rather keep this Teferi out of burn range. Let's just draw a card. Ooh, another Planeswalker. Perfect. And let's untap our basics. Now they're down to 3 cards. I kind of feel good about this game. Colonnades are shut off, but we've got a bunch more threats in our hand. Okay. That thing in the ice is certainly threatening. Guess we can plus this first. Does this not make... Is this like a timestamp thing between Blood Moon and Spreading Seas? I guess. It probably is. So I guess we don't have as many basics as I thought. But we will get to move the Spreading Seas around if this resolves. Oh, I screwed this up, didn't I? Okay. That's Spreading Seas. Plus again. Yeah, I should have played another plane so I could play Gideon if they countered the Oath, but this now puts pressure on them to flip this thing very quickly. Click auras to attach them. Let's put it on this land. Draw another card. Yeah, and they see the pressure here. Going to be difficult for them to cast 4 spells with only 2 cards in their hand now, or 3 more spells. We've also hit a pocket of lands here, which is rough. And these 2. Yeah, now this adds blue because it's a timestamp issue. We can get a Teferi Emblem next turn if they're unable to transform Thing or send a Burns Bullet Teferi. And given that they cast a Braid, I guess they could have Bolt and they were just trying to be more mana efficient. And their Braid is definitely not doing anything. Would have been nice to play Gideon last turn, but I just spaced on needing a third plains, which was not very smart. Looks like our opponent is a main deck thing version of Blue Moon, which is the most popular, but yeah, just all these dead removal spells that they're drawing. Trying to transform this thing. Yeah, unable to do so, which is rough for them. Okay, another land, not great. See what I draw first. Another Spreading Seas, that's pretty cool. Let's make another island, shall we? And a Wall of Omens. Thing is, all of our blockers aren't actually going to do anything against the transformed thing in the ice. So I'm actually inclined to -3 on it. After trying to cast this Gideon, of course. Okay, they know they can't beat that. So Oath of Teferi did a pretty good job of helping us run away with that game. Really, it was the resolving of the Teferi after they tapped out to resolve a Blood Moon that wasn't particularly relevant. I imagine they didn't really have another counterspell in hand. They just drew some red removal that wasn't relevant, whereas we did a pretty good job of not drawing any bad removal. Our Wrath at least traded for something. Our Path got us a land, and that was it. Granted, we did Flood, but our deck is also just more replete with like gas spells, so easier for us to draw into good cards than I think of their deck. Definitely want the blue cards on the Geists, extra counter spells. Nothing else looks particularly good. I am not a Snapcaster Mage deck, which makes me think maybe Rule of Law. No, they're the deck with more counter spells. The Rule of Law makes counter spells good. It's possible that Rest in Peace is reasonable on my side. With an opponent that has a Snapcaster Mage and a Logic Knot at the very least, where we have essentially nothing, it's definitely a consideration. I guess the real question is how many removal spells and how many of these cantrip 2-drops, neither of which is particularly good, do we want? Right now, before adding any Rest in Pieces, we need to cut 2 more cards. Path to Exile is just not good. I guess we do have to deal with Thing in the Ice specifically, so we probably have to leave in some number of paths. And finding basics for ourselves under Blood Moon is pretty nice, but Spreading Seas also helps us find those basics in a roundabout way while cantripping. And if we don't have Wall of Omens in our deck, then these Path to Exiles probably aren't finding extra lands. So I'm going to not cut into this section too much. I actually think it's a reasonable part of our deck to help against Blood Moon, which, even though we have a lot of basics ourselves, is a real part of this matchup from their side. If I suspect that they don't have Blood Moon in their deck after sideboarding, maybe I'll go down more aggressively here. But for now, I don't think Rest in Peace is particularly good. We have to find it before they Snapcaster. They still have a 2/1, which is a card. So we're not getting a lot of value out of it. And see if we can take this game. This hand looks quite good. We have access to multiple basics, one of each color. This Geist of St. Traps should be very good, and Spell Snare prevents a Snapcaster Mage from coming in and blocking it, hopefully. So yeah, easy keep. Guess I gotta leave in more paths to help because we have Geist after sideboard. That is another thing. But for now, we'll cast Serum Visions, looking probably just for our basic lands. Yeah, I don't want the Colonnade, but I think the second Plains is still good. Now we have 2 of each basic. Field of Ruin might find another. Let's see what they do with this. Scry on the bottom. Good chance I wait until turn 3, or turn 4, I mean, to go for this Geist. Because I can protect it from a counterspell with a Dispel. Yeah, just keep making land drops. A V-click here would be really good. Okay, just the Electrolyze. Excellent. That I can I can shrug off. A V-click there would have been devastating. Just a 4th land. Let's Field of Ruin. Just to use our mana and get another basic. And I'll take the 3rd island for Cryptic Command through Blood Moon. And let's start the series of tapping out for things. Dispel. We resolve the Geist, so it makes it hard for them to stick a Planeswalker or Keranos effectively. Thing the Ice is okay. Instead, nothing. Oh, I screwed this up too. I'm getting there. It was unlikely I got punished, but I shouldn't have played the second Plains. If I just kept myself on all islands here, drawing the 4th island would have let me Cryptic plus Spell Snare, which might end up being very important. But let's attack. Yeah, they have the Snapcaster. Thing is, they can't Spell Snare they can't remand my Spell Snare. Okay, this just resolves. That's good. Do they have another Snap? Okay, no, just taking the damage. But now we're down a Cryptic Command. Or down, like, not down it, but down being able to cast it here. There's something in the ice, but once again, they're down to 3 cards in hand. So transforming it seems like it's going to be difficult. Okay, let's start with an attack. Actually, do I want to just path this before blocks? No. It does like let me kill them a turn sooner, ostensibly. But I don't think I want to be that aggressive about it. I want them to be committing first because I'm the one who's ahead. Make sure I don't lose a lot of value in the event that they find an answer to this Geist. Do I even want to tap out for Teferi here when I can follow it up with a path? Let them use a counter spell? Probably not. Again, they're the ones that have to tap out here. Yeah, they're just sending this bolt upstairs. That's fine. This thing is still on 3 counters. They have 2 cards in hand. I do think I can just upkeep path this. It'd be very difficult for them to transform it in response. And I still leave up this Cryptic Command. Yeah, path happens. They get another basic that doesn't do a whole lot. Once again, no land drop from them. So 3 spells in hand on both sides. They're up a land, but I'm up a Geist with them on 7 life. I feel pretty good. My hand is also pretty gassy right now. 3 Planeswalkers and a Cryptic. So I do have a Snapcaster. Do I go for a counter spell here? It's unlikely I get to double spell anytime soon, though I imagine they have a counter spell as well. Still going to go for it. Okay, they did not have a counter spell, I guess, and they see the writing on the wall. I mean, at one life there, if they're, I can't imagine what's in their hand, but clearly all bricks. And at one life there, staring down an attack from Geist plus the token the following turn, it's really hard to find an answer. I guess they could find another Snapcaster and snap the Cryptic, block Geist, bounce the token, draw a card. But then they're tapped out, and I just got to resolve Planeswalkers. I probably just slam Elspeth with them at one and take the game pretty easily from there. So, not a matchup that I think is favorable for blue-white, especially a version like this one that's trying to tap out and has a little bit more removal and not as many counter spells. Maybe less removal, but more just proactive plays and fewer counter spells. And that usually leaves you vulnerable to the deck that plays more at instant speed, has more cheap counter magic. But in both games, we were able to resolve a threat. Game one, it was Teferi after fighting a little bit early and then resolving a Blood Moon that we had appropriately played around. And then game two, the cheap threat out of the sideboard, the Geist-the-Same Draft, which is certainly very good in this matchup. So had two on our board. We're fortunate to draw one, and just sort of played a classic tempo, protect the queen strategy, and usually in control mirrors that strategy after sideboarding is pretty common, and we executed it very well. So a good showing from the blue-white deck against a matchup that I would assume on paper to be bad, especially having played a lot of Blue Moon myself. And hope you enjoyed watching it. You can come back and see me on Friday. Bye.